If you could get 3 or 5 or 10 new students from your studio website in a single month, what would that do to your business? Well, this is something that I had a chance to talk about with Courtney Downs. I was surfing the piano forums on Facebook one day and noticed that she was asking a lot of questions. I kind of reached out to her, and as things turned out, we had a conversation. We had a chance to talk about her high-level strategy and answer a lot of questions that music studio owners have about their website and attracting new leads. So what you're about to see is an excerpt of a longer conversation, a coaching conversation that we had together, in which we talked about strategy, whether SEO is a good strategy or not for a piano studio, no matter what size you are. We had a chance to talk about very specific tactical things you can do on your website to literally get more students every month from the website. And I will tell you that some of the advice that I gave her came directly from experience I've had in managing several different websites for my studio, for studios I've worked with, and just experience I've had in getting training in this sort of thing. So this is a little bit of a longer video, but the promise I'll make to you is that about every 90 seconds, there is another really good question that she asks or another good topic that we land on. This is highly relevant to you, really relevant to your business, getting new leads, growing the income of a studio, having a great program, and even getting into topics such as the psychology of what parents want to see on your website. It would be very difficult for you to leave having watched this video and not having received at least one really good idea that you can take into your business this week. So enjoy this video and let's get going. So, the first thing that I would say is maybe just give me just a little bit of background about your studio, how long you've been doing things, just kind of the basic details,
Yeah. I've been teaching piano for quite a while and sort of growing it as a business for 3 years. And my website was going pretty well with getting new students. Actually, I was using Wix. But since then, I've moved from a commercial building to traveling to students' homes, first as an interim thing, but then it just ended up working out quite well for the time being. And this term, I took on an opportunity to teach preschool music classes. Like, I've taken over someone's studio and she's licensed the materials to me. So I was hoping to sort of promote that a lot once I finish the training.
Interesting.
And, I've done like tons of research on the best design to get people to go to your most profitable service. And so I just thought, I should have that on my website. But then I also, my partner teaches guitar for my new studio and he wants more students. So then he said, don't focus on the guitar, but it'd be good to sort of have the piano, guitar and preschool music on the same site. And then it just felt like too much, sort of knowing where to focus, especially because, say, with preschool music, I can offer a free class because I'm going to be there anyway, whereas we're not going to travel for free. So we're doing once-off traveling lessons, but so you can't really give one offer as well on the same site. And so that's sort of where I am at the moment, just trying to figure out. And I mean, I'm going to get flyers done and do a lot of local marketing, but I figured that websites are probably a great way to get students too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if I'm hearing you, what you're saying is you had a site that was basically just marketing you, and then now you have a partner teacher, you have this other program that you're doing, you're wanting to market all 3 of them from the same site. Is that it? Okay. So, and then is the issue that you're saying, is it that you don't want to put them all on the same site, or you're not sure how to highlight the most important one? Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
My issue is that I suppose at the moment, I want to market the preschool music the most, but I want everything to be on the same site. I want to sort of build my studio image, I suppose. Okay. And like in an ideal where like a parent would come and say, my child's this age and they want to learn this, and know exactly where to go. And and I sort of figured a site's probably supposed to look reasonably clear and nice. So,
Right.
and because I'm used to using like the drag drop on Wix and I only know a tiny bit of code, just seems like impossible to do it on WordPress. But I want to use WordPress because I use that already.
Okay.
For my own blog, yeah.
So that's interesting. So the goal is to promote the preschool program.
Yeah.
But already I'm hearing one issue is that you have multiple things, but the second one is the WordPress issue.
Yeah.
Which is more important to you to solve at this moment?
I think probably figuring out what to put on the website, like the design. Yeah.
Okay. So that has more to do with, so do you have a theme already?
I've been experimenting with different free ones because I haven't got a lot of traffic to it, so it hasn't really mattered to me if I changed it a lot. I'm using one from one of those Color Lib themes.
Okay.
It's a free one, so.
Got it.
Yeah.
Have you used any of the, because what I heard you say that on Wix, you had the ability to drag and drop. Have you used a WordPress template that has drag and drop capability in it?
Yeah, I was looking at a few, and then when I was reading about it, because I figured WordPress is probably good for getting a lot of traffic from the keyword and SEO stuff. Mm-hmm. And I was reading that the drag and drop builders are not really great for SEO. I don't know that myself, but I just read that a bit on blogs.
Got it.
And, yeah.
Okay.
So there's sure if that was the best thing to go with.
Sure. So there's so many places we can go from here because there's like 3 or 4 different things you've already talked about. What I will tell you, and I'm going to kind of move more into my opinion here, all right, which is a good thing, I guess. You know, there's other avenues we can go down, but I will tell you that there are a lot of high-powered sites, sites of big businesses that are run using the Divi theme from Elegant Themes, which is probably the most popular drag and drop builder that there is. And in fact, so it's one of those situations where if you get 10 web developers to write their opinion on SEO, you'll get 11 different opinions, you know? And so on one hand, I don't want to tell you your business, so to speak, and tell you that what you read was wrong. There probably is truth within the context of what that person was writing. So totally want to agree with that. On the other hand, I do know at least one drag and drop builder that is used by a bunch of big ones. So if you want that ease and that functionality, then certainly Divi is a theme that you could use. The other thing is that a lot of what will impact SEO has to do with 2 things. Obviously the keywords and how well you rank for them and the links that are coming in. That's kind of the part that everyone really focuses on. If you read a lot of marketing blogs or you read opinions on how to do it properly, probably 85% of what is written is focused on that part. That's the part that is sexy, so to speak. The part that people don't focus on as much is the 15% behind the scenes, the structural SEO, just how the code is written behind the scenes. Stuff that people like you and I, we don't even care about that stuff, where you really do need to get a coder to fix that stuff. Let me ask you a question. How committed are you to using SEO on your site?
Can you elaborate what you mean?
Why? So, and I'm going to reference a conversation that we had off camera. Okay. So kind of the reason we connected to have this conversation was around the idea of SEO. Are you 100% dead set on using SEO first? So let's ask that question first. Are you 100% set on using SEO?
As opposed to different marketing techniques? Or?
Yes. And let me just put one other marketing technique out there, or let me ask a different question, putting you on the spot a little bit, but why do you want to use SEO?
I think maybe if I think about it, it's probably because everyone says to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. All right.
Because I mean, I didn't used to do a lot of that with my old site, but I was doing quite a bit of I don't know. I think there's not a lot of there's not tons of schools in my area, so I was sort of on Google already, and I was getting a lot of people to my website, and I wasn't really sure where they were coming from, so I just assumed it was SEO. Yeah.
That Wix site, was it hosted on your own domain, or was it hosted?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So you took the Wix framework and plugged it into your domain.
Yeah.
Great. Okay. So it sounds like if you were getting hits on your site and you weren't running ads, that's right.
Yeah.
You weren't running ads, then you were getting them organically.
Yeah.
Then you're in a very fortunate position, because it sounds like you're just getting natural organic traffic without even having to kind of go in and do anything with SEO. So what I will tell you is that if you run WordPress, which is probably 1,000,000,000 times better than Wix, if you run WordPress and you just put it on that domain and you do some basic SEO work on it, like the Yoast plugin, and you follow what I would consider just to be elementary best practices, you're probably going to have the same effect, but even better.
Yeah.
Without having to either pay someone to do it or kill yourself trying to do it yourself, when what you really want to do is be teaching preschool, not
designing a website.
Not designing a website, right?
Yeah.
So one other thought too, and I'm just going to kind of put this out here. There is, what size do you want to grow your school to?
Well, I know that if I had 100 students, I'd be doing well.
Okay.
Yeah.
As we all would, yes. 100 students is great. And you're going to teach these students.
They're in groups of 8, yeah.
Okay. You're going to teach, or I'm sorry, you have a guitar teacher. So are you including that in that 100?
No.
Okay, okay. What I will say is that if you focus on SEO as a strategy, the one downside that not a lot of people talk about, or that maybe we underappreciate how big of a danger this is Google changing their ranking algorithm.
Yeah, that's true.
There's also the fact that if you use Google and you're using an SEO strategy, it's a long-term strategy. That if you make changes on your site today, those might not be reflected for a week or 3 weeks or 3 months or 6 months.
Yeah,
as Google crawls your site. Now, there's ways to get Google to crawl your site so that those changes can be reflected faster. But overall, what I'm saying is that I like it as a long-term strategy, but there are short-term things you can do as well. And I'm curious, I mean, do you even want to kind of go into that just a little bit? Maybe talk about some short-term things you can do to get traffic instantly.
Yeah, because I suppose you're right. I haven't had a lot more hits to my site, seeing as I've changed to WordPress and themes and that kind of thing. So probably it's more getting people to the site and then actually getting them to take an action instead of just looking. I think that's probably the biggest problem, which is why I was fretting so much about the design, is like, where do I put a contact form? Or like, if I hand out 500 flyers and I get 15 people look at my site, how many are actually going to sign up for lessons?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So is the site live right now? Or are you still in the design phase? Okay. Interesting.
Oh, it's live. It's just not perfect.
Mine is neither. Neither of my sites are perfect. What's the web address?
madhattermusic.com.au.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I really like it.
Yeah, that's a great title. Great name.
This is the one I was trying to work out at 1 a.m. the other day.
Right. So can you see it on the screen?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So first off, this site looks better than mine. I'm serious.
Okay.
What are you using?
It's a theme called ILLDY or something. It's a color lib free theme.
This is great. Okay. So first off, something I love that you're doing that a lot of teachers don't do is you're putting a child's face here. A lot of times teachers will plaster their face right in the front of their site. And I mean, that's great. But if you have the option to put a spotlight on you or your business or the customer, you always want to put it on the customer. So I love what you're doing here with the student here.
Yeah.
That's the first thing. Let me ask a question about how long did it take you to create this?
It took me not very long once I had the theme, but it's taken me like probably a solid week of like consistent hours in it to try and figure out how to do it.
Got it.
But once I had the theme, like it's actually not that very original because I've just swapped in the text and pictures, to be honest.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's great. So then, since I'm really glad you told me that, because since that's where you're at, then what I'm going to do is just make a couple suggestions of some things to do here. Yeah. With your permission, of course. I mean, is that okay?
Yeah, that'd be great.
So what I would say is right off the front, what parents are looking for, and it might sound like I'm just making this up, but this is based on so I've worked with a lot of music schools. I've worked in 2 different piano schools that I've been involved in, my own and then one that I'm a partner in. And then I've also just kind of helped teachers as a business coach, so to speak, and worked with them on their website. Because of that, I've had the opportunity to survey at least 1,000 families. Let's just call it at least 1,000. It might be over 2,000 at this point, where I've gone in with the business owner and surveyed the families they've had and figured out kind of the psychology behind what people are doing. And what I will tell you is that most parents, when they're coming to the front page of your site, the very first thing they're actually wanting to find out is a little bit more about the program. So psychologically speaking, for you to have book a trial right here, right off the front, they're not there yet mentally.
Yeah.
And so what's a better opportunity for that button is asking yourself, well, okay, if what they're after is more information about the program itself, what text would be best there? And so I'm going to get really boring here. Like the learn more button, that's actually probably more compelling to the parent than book a trial, believe it or not, even though that isn't nearly as exciting to you, right? So that's the first thought.
So you wouldn't even put the book a trial there, hey?
Yes. Now, what I will do is, and on my site, and it's a little bit different than yours, and that's okay. Like I said, my site is not quite as modern looking as this. My site, the theme that I'm using is a couple years old, so it's not quite as flashy as I think a newer theme is. And they've got a little bit more of a traditional menu right at the top. And so what I do up there is I have my informational points like here, and then here, and then here. And then right at the end, I have like contact me.
Yeah.
And so what it gives parents the opportunity to do is what do they want to find out about first? The teacher, the program, where I'm located, or do they want to contact me right now?
Yeah, true.
And so I kind of give that choice. And here's what I'll tell you. I actually have a tool that allows me to see what parents click on the most. And most of the time, the thing they click on the most is about the program, about the piano lesson program itself. And so psychologically speaking, that tells me, and so what I have on my page is I have those menu options up here, but the main button that I have actually goes to my program page. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So that is that. Let's clear this.
So then with my learn more, it links to those 3, because I have 3. I don't know which one to link to.
Yeah. Now I love this arrow. This is brilliant. There's some psychological studies that have been done that arrows or where someone's eyes are looking at in a picture, people are more likely to click there. They've done studies on this. So actually, if you could even get a picture of a kid like looking towards the buttons, don't know if you can, but if you would, like that's like A+ work. Okay. Now I know that you haven't done this. I know that you haven't done this text yet. So I know that this is still a work in process. I'm not really going to talk about that at all. But what I will tell you is I like the way that you've arranged these here and that you haven't given too many choices. In fact, even though I wasn't criticizing earlier, even though you don't have a menu up here, I actually like that because it really focuses people more on the buttons here. I would probably put this down to one button.
Okay.
And the color, I like that. And then just put learn more about our program or something like that. Now, the issue that you have is that you've got 3.
Yeah.
And so probably more than likely what you'd want to do is learn about our programs, and then maybe even when they click that, they go to a page that has this here.
Okay. Yeah.
A little bit tougher. If we had more time and we were really thinking this through, you know, I'd probably have a lot more to say about that. Ultimately, though, just test it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And one other thing, I love the contact form here at the bottom. I love the testimonials. You've got this, you have this. I like how this is all the way at the bottom of the page. The pictures are small. Again, you're focusing on what's most important to parents, which is themselves and what they want. So by putting that above the fold, that's really great. So, you know, I mean, the only other thing I would say is on any sub pages that you have, let's just look at those. Is this only a 1-page site for right now?
The preschool music classes works.
Okay. We'll just go in there and then I'll
But I haven't. Yeah.
Yeah. So when I told you I was going to look at the page, like, did you get like nervous or something? Just out of curiosity. Okay, good. All right. I hate to put you on the spot like that. So we didn't talk about that before we started. So
yeah.
The only other thing I would say about this page, I love this.
It has to be sort of laid out better, I think.
Maybe. Even if you didn't, I would say that this is probably 85% of the way there. There's only 2 things that I would say. And one is optional. The first one is have a giant button down here at the bottom of this column, like right here, that says, yeah, do something like that. And then that is the only suggestion I have for this page, because honestly, this site looks great. The only other thing I would say is if you had a sidebar. So if maybe this whole area here, if I can figure out how to draw again, if this whole area here was like bumped over a little bit, okay, and then you had a sidebar here, and then you had like a basic like piece of information with another button here that's present on the entire site. And again, something like to get started, or click here to contact me, or just contact me, something like that.
Right.
That is probably a little bit like this whole idea here is probably, this is totally optional. I wouldn't worry too much about this. What do you mean?
What would you be putting in the information above the button on the right? The box.
Oh, right. Probably like a little blurb that says Mad Hatter Music Studios is located in, you know, this city. Mad Hatter sees 75 students every week, or 50 students every week, or whatever like that. And then maybe one other piece of, maybe just one other piece of information. I do this on my site. And what I found is that there are 2 buttons that are most clicked. The first one is, the first one, ooh, hold on. I gotta clear all that. The first one would be in that menu that's up top. That is the most clicked button where it says contact me. The second most clicked button is that sidebar on the side. So if you go to my site and you look at what I put in there, that's a good example of what I would put there.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah. Okay.
Good. So, you know, I think that, I don't know, that might be a good place to stop. I certainly don't want to, you know.
No, I like that idea. But it doesn't, I just didn't know if I was like totally off track with the website. So.
Oh, no, this is a great website. You know, any last questions you might have before we wrap up?
No, I don't think so. It's been very helpful.
Good.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, hey, I'm more than happy to help. And I'll tell you what, when you finish that, just shoot me an email and, and,
Yeah, okay.
probably be a little more informal over email, but I would love to,
Yeah.
follow up on that with you. So is that cool?
Okay. Yeah, cool. Thanks,
Cool.
Daniel.
Great. Hey, if you're seeing this, you stuck all the way around to the end of this video. I applaud you. In this age of short attention spans, sticking around and watching something for 20 minutes is to be commended. To reward your patience, I just want to leave this simple offer here. If you have a question or you'd like to have a conversation like this, just tell me in the comments below. I'm happy to answer the question here. Or if you'd like a little bit more personal attention, I'm happy to give it to you. Email me at daniel@growyourmusicstudio.com. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.